have a couple of announcements this morning, but we'll wait a minute to get into that. And good morning. I see someone's clicked like already. Wow, that must be Kevin. It's got to be Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have a super weekend coming up. We have one more weekend where we are going to resume the Ted Green's chord chemistry, not this weekend, but next weekend. I wanted to remind you guys that. And then let's see, we also have a very happy Friday coming up here. I guess today is Happy Friday, right? So I think I lost a day or gained a day or somehow somewhere along the week. But we'll go ahead and just get started, if you don't mind. We'll just get kind of ripping. We'll just get started. And today's episode is brought to you by the A440 tuning fork, which you can get if you need one. It's in the link in the it's linked somehow to the video. But this is what we start with. We start with the A440. Here it is again, in case you need it. Yeah. Do it, lady. All right, so we've got this beautiful A ready to go. Working on my breathing skills as well. If you are just tuning in, I'm Jason, and I do this morning ritual for guitar growth every weekday morning for the entire year of 2025. This is episode something like 153 or something like that. If you are into guitar, which I hope you are, we should all be lovers and supporters of the arts and sciences to some degree, right? Patrons. And playing the guitar and appreciating the guitar is certainly one way to approach this. That sounds pretty close. So what I like to do before I even get going on warming up is to remind myself that breathing and tuning and scanning my body for tension in it that doesn't belong is all part of the warm-up cycle. Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and thank you for playing the guitar with me for so many hours. And I do like to use this as an opportunity to say, good morning, guitar. Good morning. Yeah, I was thinking about that coming into the studio this morning. Coming into Bluebird Studio this morning. I was just thinking about coming over the fields and watching the sun sort of already risen. It's already a new day. And just sitting around, just standing out on the porch, facing, let's see, south, and watching the birds sort of operating and nestling into the top of the huge maple tree. And beside which we used to stand a beautiful old huge old birch tree, and just that got sort of hit by lightning a decade ago and fell 3 or 4 years ago, so we had to care for that. But watching the world come to life and just observing the world coming to life as I'm heading down here to Bluebird, getting ready to say hi to Tweety, right? It's funny, it's so funny that I have a guitar named Tweety, and our lives are so like involved with birds at the moment. You know, a rare and protected bird. We happen to have one of the last 3 or 4 colonies, and I think I'm tuned up. I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and hit it this morning. So 1 E and a 2. Of course, we have the metronome. This is also co-sponsored. This video is also co-sponsored by the metronome. And we're at 60 beats per minute, and we're starting with fingers 3 and 4, and we'll go ahead and hit it now. 1 E and a 2. You know what to do. Yeah, and you know, I like to say that this is set out here for everyone, but it's not intended to be a flashy experience. It's not intended to be, you know, that high energy, you know, cut for retention. It's not that at all. What it's supposed to be is a documentation of some fat old white dude on the internet playing his morning ritual for guitar growth. And what's funny about that is when I was beginning with guitar, and I had my cassette machine, my little stereo cassette recorder player that I only really used to play back, you know, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. It's fingers 2 and 3 on 10 and 12. I remember those days being pretty simple. But I never thought during that time that there would be an internet when I was a grown man, where I would sit in front of a camera and play just a warm up, you know, a measly old warm up in front of, you know, I guess probably if we're probably hitting like anywhere between 1,000 people and 11,000 people a day. You know what I mean? I think it looks like sometimes we have, you know, right now there are 17. The readout says 17 people here. 4 likes. You know, you could double tap the screen and help us out with a like. That's a great way to help out. If it's in your power to assist. But thinking about it, all of those moments where you practice in the bedroom as a youngster, and even as an adult, those practice times are typically, you know, going unobserved. I thought earlier on, later in, you know, maybe 3rd, 4th quarter in 2024, I thought about what would it look like if I recorded one entire year of just warming up on the guitar, not really for anybody else, but really for myself, so that I could see what happens, what changes, what looks different, what kind of change happens as we proceed through, you know, 260 hours of warming up with the guitar every morning. You know, it's not for everybody. I mean, it could be for everybody, but it's really just designed to be for me and you, and just a way to say good morning to the guitar. It's so simple. So fingers 2 and 4 on 9 and 12. Yes. And today I think we're going to finish up with the diatonic, triadic approach to the C major scale. I think we pretty much completed that yesterday, but we're going to review that to be sure we have it. And if you stick around for the end of the session where we migrate, we are in a pilgrimage here. So we move from the mindset of a guitar practitioner warming up with the guitar to the mindset of a guitar practitioner practicing with the guitar. So I have my real book. I have one of my real books here. It's the C and vocal version, old school. I'm going to crack it open and take a look at, I know probably autumn leaves, but I want to start working through just reading chord changes as part of my warm-up and coming to life and waking up, the wakefulness that we need to experience as guitar practitioners. And we don't need to know all of these advanced voicings to play a beautiful jazz standard. So we'll start right here on the acoustic guitar with open position chords as best we can. And that way we can talk, we can have a really great discussion. And that will be a starting point. So it's still sort of warm-up material. So 1 E and 2 fingers, 1 and 3 on frets 9 and 12. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. There are different feels when we play swing eights or jazz eights. These are straight eighth notes. And then when we play jazz eights, we can do just kind of like thinking about like the way a horse tail moves around, swings back and forth. It's not really just a horse tail doesn't go, it's not there and then there. It's not just sort of like the horse tail doesn't index into place, and it's not really that. So the eighth notes, let's go ahead and use fingers 1 and 4 and 7 and 12. 2, 3, go. And you can have varying degrees of swing. Yeah, that was good. That feels really good for the old left hand. So let me go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get the cover off of this tea here. So I've got some ginger tea going, and just get that cover off there. And you have to be really careful about opening this kind of thing up on the top of your guitar, and taking the time to not ruin anything. Oh, this is perfect. So I cut some ginger root this morning, and then I put it in one of those little steel balls that the mesh, so it can have a nice gingery start. And hopefully you enjoy some ginger too once in a while. So it feels like the hand is getting pretty strong, you know, after this hour-long session happening 5 days a week. I just realized it's 1/4 and we need to stretch. But the fingers, the hands are starting to really feel strong, really feeling dialed in. They feel different to me than they did. They feel a lot different to me now than they did, let's see, maybe, January 2025. It feels like the forearms are different, just by using this morning ritual every day. I can legitimately say I'm noticing a difference in the feeling of capabilities in the fretting and picking hands. Those hands are coming together nicely. So we'll go ahead and continue building up on those skills. I'm looking forward to coming through this cycle through the fall and through the winter and into the deep, well, maybe not the bleak midwinter, but at least through January. We'll be going all the way up through to, I think, New Year's Eve, I think. Of course, we'll go ahead and take a look at the first video we did in January and compare it with the last video that we are going to do in December 2025. And we will compare what 260 hours did for us, right? So we'll be able to, hopefully some of you are also recording some of your footage from the beginning and intermediate footage and the last day of the year that we practiced together. So hopefully some of you are getting that going, right? Yep. Then hopefully you'll be kind enough to share those videos with me and we can review and we can put a little video together about how all of this worked for everybody. So I'm hoping that we have that we can do that with at least a handful of us. You know, at least I'm going to do it and review my own personal process. So it'll be done anyway. Let's go ahead and roll those arms back and roll the arms forward and out straight, and we'll kind of twist them and turn them, rotate those those shoulders, just kind of taking care of everything here. We'll reach back. Be mindful of that breath, and we're coming right back to it now. Here we go. Let's go ahead and just get right back on it. Maybe the shirt's scratched a little bit. All right, so here we go. So why don't we go ahead and fingers 2, 3, and 4 on 10, 11, and 12. 1, 2, 3, and go. So 4 attacks per beat, and we're using this last 2 fingers of the 3-finger grouping. These are great exercises for us to do together. And we can be assertive with the tone, it's okay. We can be sort of like ginger with the tone. Apply liberally the dynamic range and understanding of the guitar. So those are good things to do. But breathing in and breathing out is super important while we go through this process. And you can hear I'm on the backbeat with the metronome. And we'll go ahead and start doing some of these finger roll exercises here and just surf our way through the jaws, you know what I mean? If you were a big wave surfer, you start feeling that flow, you know? And we're engaged in that flow here. And this is really great exercise. This is great work for the last 3 fingers of the guitar, of the fret hand, because the 4th finger really benefits from getting exposed to that responsibility of getting that control, that moving between strings. Just rolling around. I guess we can do the same thing with finger 3, but you get the idea about what's happening, and then ascend with finger 2. And then create all of these little permutations. If you can think of it, if you can think of the permutation, it's probably worth practicing it. I'm just going to put it out there, and if you don't practice it, nobody will, right? So these are things that help to inform our own voice on the guitar. Thought about what it means to move triads around the guitar neck? Guitar is not really in tune, but you get the idea. There's a lot to do. And anytime you have an idea to practice a permutation or pattern, put it to work on your guitar. Let it come to life. Breathe some life into it, yeah. We can have some fun too, but I really want to just keep this focused as a warm-up. So we're just jumping back into fingers 1 and 2 and 3 on 9 and 10 and 12. And T, E, end of 4, E, go. We're back to the warm-up. It's okay to sort of break away from it and have a little bit of fun once in a while, but it's the entire point of this period in my day is to actually warm up and acquaint myself with the strings and the guitar and the wood and the fretboard and the width of the string set, you know. So here we are, we're finding our way back through the getting back on track. There's that Supertramp song. I've been hearing a lot about that Logic song lately. I think I'm going to have to cover the song. Just a really great, great memory, and if it's the first time hearing it, it's such a great song. Oh, let's do some finger rolling here. Oh, we're in another pattern, so it's 1, 2, 4 on the next string, or well, let's just keep it regular. Fingers 1 and 3 and 4 on 9, 11 and 12, go. Yeah, very simple. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is indeed a happy Friday today. We're approaching the top of the hour, so in another 5 minutes we'll be due for another stretch, and we can sort of just talk and hang out just for 2 minutes, So if we stretch and keep it on time at quarter of the hour, top of the hour, quarter to the bottom of the hour, and then that's 3 times, it's 3 stretches times 2, that's 6 or 7 or 8 minutes by the time we get done with the dilly-dally. So that in turn, stretching is almost 1/6 of our morning ritual. So stretching is super important. Yeah, and I'm just playing loud and sort of like wide open right now. It feels good to just hear the volume of the guitar, so that's okay too. It's not like we're playing just, one note in the dynamic level, but we just want to know we can make that noise, that same kind of noise if we need to. And then hopefully the other musicians, especially if they're acoustic musicians that we're playing with, let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9, 10, 11, and 12. Hopefully the other musician, 2, 3, go. Hopefully the other acoustic, at least acoustic, super important on acoustic music, acoustic instruments, super important with acoustic instruments to practice an understanding of the full dynamic range of the instrument. Because the dynamic range of the instrument, as you can barely hear the guitar now, then you can hear it grow, and you can almost play so loudly that you can overtake your own voice talking. So there's a really great dynamic range available on most acoustic instruments, especially this guitar. This is really a fun guitar to play on. This cheap old beater, you know, it's the Martin DX2E, which is actually, if you want one, if you want to try one out, you can go ahead and purchase one through Guitar Center right here through this video. And it's an affiliate link, so it actually helps us keep the lights on. And but I've been very happy with this guitar. That's right, I have been very happy with this guitar. And I think the most important thing about understanding dynamic level is respect, right? It's respect. Yeah, it's respect. It's absolutely respect. At least for interpersonal, right, purposes. So let me just expand on that for a second. How do we equate having a solid understanding of the dynamic availability, dynamic range of our acoustic instrument? How does that translate into respect? It translates into respect. If I start into a room, let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, stretch 4, and so 9, 10, 11, and 13. If I walk into 3, go. If I walk into a room and with another guitar player, and upright bass player, a mandolin player, and a banjo player, that banjo player is just going to be smoking loud, right? But there's the chance that banjo player and the fiddle player, they've also studied and completely mastered the dynamic range of their instrument. So that's, to me, where the magic really starts to happen, when there's a musical dialogue and it's not, hey, let's all listen to how loud I can play every note. I'm going to be heard above and beyond everybody else. And we all know people like that, and we all love those people. We still love them, but once in a while, it's we discover, hopefully through grace and observation of the glory of God's word, that it's not all about us all the time. So sometimes, even if I'm playing a solo, sometimes I'll come down and I'll look over at, to see what the bass player's thinking. And then maybe we can get quiet enough, still play the song, but maybe the song disappears for a little bit. But we keep going even though it disappears, right? And we all meet back at the same place. So to me, that is where the rubber meets the road. And speaking of that, I wanted to just stretch. This is also where the rubber meets the road. We're starting with 4 bars of this, and then 4 bars of the next thing. We're doing this for about 2 minutes. It's a good opportunity to talk, but it's just it's important. I think we all want to be heard, right? So we definitely all want to be heard you know, and or appreciated for what it is we do or can do, or maybe have the capacity to maybe want to do one day, or whatever it is. We do want to be heard, and that's a basic, I think, a basic issue to overcome, and a fundamental. I don't know if it's something to solve, I think. And when you find just the right musical partnerships, it can be about something other than just playing loud all the time. Because tone does come through the fingers. Tone is created through the fingers on the guitar, right? Through the picking hand and through the fretting hands. The tone is generated by the person in partnership, in unison with the instrument, right? And so we can learn a lot about a person, you know, or a musician by the way they play their instrument, right? By the way they address their instrument, by the way they hold their instrument, by the way they pick up and set down their instrument, by the way they care for their situation, right? We can learn a lot about another musician just by observing, right? Just by observing. And so we go back to observing what it is we're trying to do, what it is I'm trying to do on the guitar. I'm trying to, do the kickstand exercise at the moment. So fingers 1, 2, 3, 4 on position number 9. But I'm going to do the kickstand, so we're getting it kicked back just a little bit. That first finger reaches back to 8, finger 2 on 10, 11 with third finger, fourth finger on 12. And this is a very common thing in this warm-up with me here on the internet. And thank you if you are just tuning in. I'm Jason, and I do this every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. until the bottom of 8:30, and for the entire year of 2025. And you are absolutely more than welcome to join me for this. So we'll start with that kickstand exercise, and here we go. 3, 4, go. And it's just it's a measly old warm-up process. It's not something we're going to undervalue here. I can assure you of that. So where the rubber meets the road, I wanted to continue on that discussion, if you don't mind, how to find self-respect and discipline in our own ventures with the guitar. Because we all play guitar differently, and we all have a golden standard through which we hope to arrive. I guess we all hope to arrive at that golden standard at some point. And for us, that's represented by a player sometimes. Sometimes that golden standard is represented by B.B. King or Eric Clapton or Eric Johnson or any Blind Lemon, Charlie Christian, Keith Jarrett, or Neil Armstrong or Lance Armstrong, really taking it to the next level. But it's we hope to arrive at this place, and sometimes we find ourselves get locked into, if you just bear with me for a minute, I want to get to this point. Sometimes we find ourselves, I'm doing this diagonal pattern, and you can join me while I talk through this real quick. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, and here we go. But sometimes we hold the player in high esteem, or the things that this player, let's say we have a player that we have in mind, Matteo Mancuso, who's just sort of, really crushing it on the guitar, does that mean I need to play every single note and lick like Mr. Mancuso? No. Does it mean that I would like to work on some of his ideas or practice habits? Yes. What can I get from, what can I learn and take and put in my back pocket from the players I admire around the planet? And then I'll be in what's called gear acquisition mode, or technique acquisition mode, TAM or GAM. But we don't live there forever. Once in a while we go off the trail and we find a cliff face and we put our gear that we've acquired over the past season or two. We've learned how to use the gear, and then finally we get to climb the rock face in our own expression. So this is what I think largely I'm trying to delineate an understanding through my own understanding is it can be a challenge. I guess we could summarize all of this and make it easy to say by saying it's sometimes it's hard or scary to find our own guitar voice, but that's the path that we are on. You know, I think that's the path we're on, looking for a good quality original voice that basically satiates the need for our internal need for creation, right? Let's do this exploded version. So fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on low E, D, G, and high E string. Let's try that. 1 E and a 2. You know what to do. That's right. It's a big old scary arpeggio, you know, pretty much an arpeggio, but a string skip exercise, and it's the old 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise that we know and love so well. We're just retuning it and retooling it and repurposing it for continued growth. Just had to stop and wait for the metronome to catch up to me. Let's go ahead and work through the minor pentatonics again. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. 1, 2, here we go. And I think what happens is start with 4 attacks per beat. And so by the time I get to show up and hang out with another musician, another guitarist, perhaps, in order to have that confidence that I don't need to overplay, I really need to understand a certain number of things about the musical life in general. Number one, I should have a repertoire. I should know at least a handful of songs, you know, 5 or 10, 30, 40, 300, 400, you know, it depends on what we're trying to do. All right, so 2, 4, 2, 4, so the major pentatonic. So there's a lot going on here, I think, for me. But for some reason this morning, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the ginger. Maybe I need to lay off the ginger. But I'm really, honest to goodness, trying to stay focused on this. All right. So let's go ahead and complete the minor pentatonic. Major pentatonic or altered pentatonic, or however you know, whatever kind of perspective you have on what is going on here. The last shape is and then we need to just kind of skedaddle and get onto the just review of the triadic approach to C major. We'll go ahead and do that next. And I'm switching to upstrokes, just to be sure I can play all of this with upstrokes taking the lead. On the guitar that aren't played enough, you know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at C major. Here's the C major scale, and then I'm just tonicizing my ears for the C major scale. So we're starting with C major, starting here on fret 8, and then we're using, yesterday we started, or Monday, I guess the beginning, it seems just like yesterday, doesn't it? We started on the beginning of the week with a major triad. If you'd like to, you can go back to Monday's session and just kind of look at the last 10 or 15 minutes there, and you can pick up that major triad. Tuesday, you could go back and pick up that minor triad. And then Wednesday and Thursday, you can go back and pick up the diminished triad. You can learn all about that this week and collect those patterns. And then right now, what I really want to do, I just really wanted to just get through all of this diatonic major triad, major minor diminished triad expression. So hopefully we're still warming up, but so all we're doing is just trying to put all of those arpeggios together on the guitar. So we've done that now, and really what I'd like to do at the moment is I just want to go through and explore a little bit of all the things you are, or some tune. I'm going to open the real book into a song and a piece of, like a standard, And I'm just going to read through the changes, right, with the metronome. And I'm going to show you what I would do if I were me. And look at this old school, man. And so I have on the front of the book, so I can decipher which one's the front, the word, I don't know if you can see it, front. And let's go through and just see what's going on. I've got the new real book, it's the legal version, right? Thank God. The new real book, Jazz Classics, Choice Standards, Pop Fusion Classics, created by musicians for musicians. Now that's a concept. And then so we have categorical index. So for example, we start with Miles Davis, Bill Evans, Thelonious Monk, Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard, Sonny Rollins, Joe Henderson, Cannonball, McCoy Tyner, we got Mingus, Montgomery, Getz, Coltrane, Parker, Gillespie, that dynamic duo, Bud Powell, Duke, we've got Brother Ellington, right? That's Brother Ellington right there. Woody Herman, many of these are brothers. So Quincy Jones, Ornette Coleman, Jerry Mulligan, Jim Hall, Abercrombie, we got Lambert, Hendrickson, Ross, Allison, Mose Allison. Your Mind is on Vacation. Wow, what a great song. Let's go ahead and take a look at that one. Let's see, Your Mind is on Vacation. Good Morning Heartache. So where does this Mind is on Vacation song live? I thought maybe they'd be alphabetical order, but I guess they're not. So let's see. How to use the book. All right, I'm in the table of contents here. So the table says, Your Mind is on Vacation, Jason. Learn how to use the book. All right, so we've got 13, 4, 11. Oh, yeah. You're sitting there yakking right in my face. Oh, yeah. All right, here's the song, right? All right. You can't see it because it's flipped, right? But let's see. I don't have a music stand out here, so maybe this will work. Oh, hopefully nothing spills. So it's E flat, 2, 3. Boy, this is tough to play at this tempo. I'm ready to charge this morning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, E flat 7, 4. In my face, down, and then D. Basically move to E flat from D flat to E flat. And down. E flat, we'll just go with E flat. You know silence is golden. You couldn't raise a dime. Let me get this spider here. Get out of here. There he goes. Sorry. So we've got this really cool, this we're dragging a little bit, but that's okay. So E flat 7, and then we have the D flat here on fret 5, 4 on the A string. So I'm using that sort of like, Mustang Sally sort of pattern. If If you haven't seen my Mustang Sally video, you can go ahead and check it out. It's a pretty decent little tutorial. So we've got that fret 6 on the low E string, fret 4 on the D string, A string, and then we go right for the root note, right for the jugular on the E flat 7 or E flat 9. 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 1, 2, and 3. If silence was golden, you couldn't raise a dime. 2, it's just a blues shuffle, right? Because your mind is on vacation and your mouth is working overtime. Let's double time this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Down to E flat 7, B flat 7, A flat 7, back to E flat 7. A couple of ways to do this. We have this really cool E flat 7, and then that's fret 6, 5, and 4 on the A, D, and 3 strings. And then we keep that same thing alive, that tritone alive. We don't move those 2 notes off of the 2 middle strings at all. We use that shape as the 3 and the flat 7 for the E flat, the flat 7 and 3 for the A flat on fret 4, and then the flat 7 and 3 for the 5, the B7 on fret 6. Right, 1, 2, 2. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, dig it down, dig it down, dig it down. So we can have just a ton of fun just by watching the changes go by in the bass line too. So that's another really cool approach for moving from guitar warm-ups to guitar practice. So what we're trying to do now is just, we took that up tempo, just trying to come back down to 60 beats per minute and reacquaint ourselves with 60, because now we're all energized and ready, all fluffed up like the turkey Tom with his feathers out. But now what we're trying to do is just come back to the world of grace and understanding. So it's very simple just to keep that count of 60. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. The other approach to this would be just playing like quarter notes. that's about it for today. Anyway, just done messing around. So thanks for hanging a little over, and I wish you a wonderful weekend, super successful weekend. Don't forget to breathe, and I'll see you again Monday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until we meet again,